everybody, and welcome back. I am the warm bucket of sweat, formerly known as Rich, your podcast host, and today I have with me Lee, Ross, and Elle. We're going to do introductions in a moment, but first I have to point out it's a bit warm, isn't it, guys?
A little bit. A bit toasty.
All right.
What do you mean it's all right?
It's not all right.
It's not all right?
I used to love it when it was this temperature, and now that I'm old, I'm like, oh, God, how did I do that? I used to run around in like the middle of the day when it's 35
On the
degrees.
surface of the sun?
Pretty much. With a tennis racket whacking balls.
Are you at the age where people have to check on you
no.
because of the heat? Have you got to that age yet?
Yeah,
People are knocking on my door with little care packages.
This isn't a podcast, this is just a live welfare check. Everybody can join in. Okay, well, I sort of said hi to everybody now anyway, but we're going to go round the table a little bit. Ross, how are you doing?
I'm good, mate. Yes, I've had a busy couple of weeks. I've been to the British Grand Prix. I've done all sorts of bits and pieces, and yeah, I'm happy to be back podcasting with you guys. It's always good to see your faces.
And the sportsball on, international sportsball.
Oh,
We're going to be excited
so
about
much
that.
sportsball.
I don't really like international football.
Ooh.
I've got to be honest, that wasn't the way I expected that to
Yeah,
go.
mate.
Right, we're segueing over to Elle. Elle, how have you been doing?
Have you been enjoying the cricket?
Yeah. Oh.
I can't say anything about sports ball. I would prefer to play or do the sports. But, you know, there's only so much boo-hurt one can do. If, everyone's like, what is this? Smashing each other whilst in armour. That'd be great.
Oh, okay.
That'd be a bit hot, though.
I've got to be honest, that was going in a week. at the beginning,
I am
and then-
doing it in this heat.
Is it air-conditioned armour?
Now we're on to something. I have been melting, working, silently stewing
I don't
with
silently-
rage about
Yeah, I
about
get
certain
angry.
things.
I can't handle it.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
good.
Is that
I'm not
how it
angry.
comes out?
I'm waiting. I'm waiting to talk about it on this pod only.
What, the heat?
No, goodness gracious, no. There's been things going on besides the heat.
Oh, okay, fine. All right, fine.
But we'll save that for later.
Oh, excellent. Right. With that tantalising reveal, Lee, how have you been doing?
I'm all right. I've had a busy couple of weeks.
Okay.
You haven't, you?
Really?
Is your server back up?
Can't imagine why.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Okay.
Got hacked.
It did.
You did get hacked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain to everybody what exactly happened?
You did one of the proper
and
YouTube
emotions you went
thumbnails
through?
as well with the sad face, and I liked it.
I did.
You did, yeah.
Deleted. Big letters
Yeah.
underneath my face.
Oh, there's content here.
Yeah.
Hey,
Better
proper.
you've got to line it.
Exactly. When life give you lemons.
Make
Yeah,
lemonade.
you get clicks.
Yeah, exactly. Go on then. What happened?
I was in Leicester, of all places. It was Father's Day weekend. It was a Sunday. The Saturday, I'd been to National Museum of Computing at Bletchley Park to meet up with a load of friends there. And we had a brilliant day there, just going around the museum, just chatting with your mates. It's a really good day. And because it was Father's Day weekend, I was allowed off the leash. So I had booked a hotel in Leicester by myself. And I stayed the night there and got a meal out and just, chilled out and relaxed and had a nice shower in the evening because it was still hot then.
Yeah.
And got up the next day, drove over to the Retro Computer Museum, which I think is the first proper retro computer museum in the UK. That's why it got the name first. And I was greeted there by the chairman of the museum, who welcomed me with open arms. I'd, pre-warned him that I was coming with cameras and stuff. But yeah, Andy Spencer, lovely guy. He gave me the full guided tour and showed me all of the nooks and crannies of the museum. It's a fantastic place. I tell you what they've got there that you really like. They've got the first public VR headsets, the proper commercial VR headsets. The ones that you used to stand in with the big, massive helmet on. They were based on Amigas. This is in the 90s. And
wow.
the proper old
That's
school.
mad.
They've got a few of them there as well. And it's the only place that you can actually go to play these things, to actually experience them. And I also got to meet another guy there called Simon, who actually collects these things. He's got 8 of these units. They're massive. 8.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I think he said 8. It might be more.
I don't have that many friends. How many people does he put in these things?
It's like a salon.
What's he
they're all
doing?
just in
Has he
chairs.
got? Yeah, it's like a salon.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
So yeah, and they've got an arcade there. They've got a library there with just stacks of stuff that I wanted to go through, and all of the things that really get me going. All of the retro things that get me going. And part way through the afternoon, I sat down with Andy and turned the cameras on. We did an interview, and halfway through that, my phone exploded, just went nuts, constantly. And, oh, something's going on here. And turned out, well, it was people messaging me saying, Discord's gone. Not the whole of Discord, just the bit that we live in, which was the Retro Hardware Discord. The Discord that used to be my More Fun Making It Discord, and I opened it up and welcomed in other channels and other creators, and we turned it into a big community which had over 1,600 members, and it was growing all the time. It was a brilliant atmosphere. Someone had got into my account, which was kind of my fault. I don't know if you want to go into that part of it, but someone had got into my account, spent a load of money on Nitro and channel boosts and stuff, about, I think it was 160 something pounds before they got shut down, and then deleted all my servers, which in this day and age is permanent. There's no backups.
That's ridiculous.
Thank you, Discord.
I thought that when I watched your video. That's mental. But there's no backup.
There's just some wastrels out there, isn't there?
Like the bit that I don't get, and I'm sure that there possibly is a logical reason for it, but so all of that is awful. I'd like to point out we've spoken about it since
the museum and everything.
No, the incredibly
not
long
like
run-up
museums.
to the actual story sounded terrific, but the bit that went wrong was bad. I
got to pad my bit out because I haven't got a game to talk about.
So it's the deletion of the server. I don't understand
why.
I understand
no benefit to them whatsoever. There was no reason.
I don't get it, and it caused them to get caught, right? So effectively, all I can think of is they spent money on Nitro until the fraud system at the bank kicked in and stopped them from being able to spend any more money. And at that point, they were annoyed that they weren't allowed to spend any more money, and they deleted all your servers, which is just, I mean, it's all malicious, don't get me wrong, but one part of it is what hackers do. The other part of it is just spiteful.
Gut punch. When I told the other guys that at the museum, and I said, "Oh yeah, don't worry, we'll sort it out." And they kindly gave me a room to sit in with a laptop to, while I changed passwords and got my account secured at least, and made sure that no other damage was happening. Which took me, a good hour and a half, 2 hours for me to sit down and go through everything. It was a really hot room as well. It's a bit like the one we're standing in now, or we're sitting in now. But yeah, after they told me, that was it. My day was done. I was looking forward to spending the rest of the day there, just having a really nice time. And I was just, I've been kicked in the nuts, and there was no coming back from that. So I got in the car and I started driving home in a very sad way. It's about a 2-hour journey from there to me. And about half an hour in, my phone buzzed again. And being paranoid, I saw the notification, made sure I was being very safe while I saw this notification. In fact, it was on my watch. And it was Facebook, of all people, saying, your account has been compromised. We have suspended it. Try and re-log in and sort it out. Yeah. So I pulled over at the next service station, and within about 3 minutes, I got my account back with no damage done. Nothing gone, all completely secure. Why couldn't Discord do that? Your Facebook, of all the places, could do that.
Wow,
Facebook can't afford to be losing users. Discord knows you'll come back.
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Mate, that absolutely sucks. And it sucks for everybody who was involved in the server and everybody who was involved in the community. However, I am sure that everybody will come back and you will build, which has already begun.
We put it back together, and I think there's over 900 members back on the new Retro Hardware Discord too. And it's better than ever. It's absolutely buzzing. So
you've called the chaff now.
Yeah, it might just
That's it. Those people who didn't really want to be there.
There is a lot of chaff. That's one of the things with Discord. People join channels and then just, they either just let it sink down their list until you can't see it anymore, or they just lurk and don't do anything. So, fine. Yeah, you.
I'm not in the new one yet.
I love a lurk. I'd like to be aware.
Lurking's fine.
I do the same thing with Discord services as I do with WhatsApp and basically everything else that potentially could make a ping or a pong on my computer or my phone. I mute it all. I have no idea what's happening in the world around me. That is how I like things. I'm really glad everything is built back up. I'm really glad that people are starting to find their way back to the server. It just shows how active and how engaged everybody was that you've managed to get back over half of the people that were already on the server prior to that. They come straight back to you. So there are actually active people. They're not people that had lurked. They're people who had dying to get back onto the new server as soon as it was available again. So
got some new ones as well.
There you go. So crap story.
Crime doesn't pay. If you're technologically minded, go do some bug bounties or something. At least you'll get some dinero in your pocket.
So I'd like to take this opportunity to point out, public service announcement. Multi-factor authentication is not as secure as people like to think it is. So there was probably plenty of people out there that already know this, but just because you've got multi-factor authentication on your services does not mean that people will not be able to hack you. People can use proxy attacks to get your multi-factor token, and they will still get into your account and they will be able to do whatever they want to do. So it's not a reason to be lax. I'm not saying that was what happened with you, Lee, but for anybody else who is listening, be careful. Multi-factor authentication alone does not protect your accounts.
I should probably say exactly what happened and how this happened. I was after a piece of software, a CD burning piece of software. I clicked on the wrong download link, which is so easy to do. Thought it was a genuine piece of software, ran it, and Chrome immediately shut down.
Warning.
So I knew exactly what had happened. Reached to the back of my computer, yanked out the Ethernet cable, and then shut my computer down and went to another computer, changed all my passwords. I missed two. I missed Discord and I missed Facebook. Oh. So I didn't realize that Discord, being an app, was also susceptible to session token stealing. I thought it would just be browser-based. But apparently, Discord is based on a browser. So they got that as well.
Yeah, and if your Chrome is compromised and you've got passwords saved inside Chrome, they're going to get all those passwords as well. Yeah.
So I immediately changed every password. That's all you can do. Lock down your account. Rechange all of your multi-factor. You make it. Kick all of the devices that are connected to any accounts that you've got. Kick them all off and add them all back on. So that's the only thing you can do. I was actually lucky that I didn't lose my Google account and my YouTube channel, because my main daily driver Google account actually contained my Discord, my YouTube channel, my main YouTube channel, which was bad. That's all changed now. It's all completely locked down.
Yeah.
There we
go.
go.
Passkeys.
Yeah.
Passkeys are the way to go.
Yeah.
Right. Well, awful, but from the ashes shall rise.
Can we swim?
Yeah.
Them bastards! Bastards!
We have to wait till we're past the YouTube watershed if we swear too early in the video. I've been trying to train myself. I'm trying to use I'm trying to use sci-fi swears now, so there's going to be a lot of fracking and frelling in this probably a little bit later on. Right, Lee, does suck, but I'm glad that you managed to rise from the ashes. He's taught you a couple of lessons about security, and hopefully he's taught a few other people a few lessons about security as well. So hopefully it's all going to be a positive in the end.
Yeah.
All right. Brilliant. That was a cheery story to begin with. Excellent. So I'd also like to point out while you were talking about this, the fun part of the story on the lead up to the bad part of the story, the VR headsets. Does anybody remember a TV show called Cyberzone? Possibly nobody other than... Do you remember this?
Yeah.
So it was a virtual reality game show hosted by Craig Charles of Red Dwarf, right? And it was in the 90s, in the early 90s even. And he put people in VR headsets that made them look a little bit like they were the Juggernaut, right?
That's
Marvel.
exactly what these. That's the same ones.
And then they were on treadmills, and they had to walk along. And they had about 4 FPS, so it was a bit like a PowerPoint presentation. And people played. This was around the era of like Games Master and stuff as well, like the peak of video game TV shows. And you talking about those great big dome things and everything massively reminded me of that. I'd completely forgotten that TV show existed, and I want to go back and watch it again for about 5 minutes until I get bored. Okay, right. Wow. Is there anything else that you want to say off the back of that tragic yet eventful story?
No, I've got something else to talk about later, but I want to break it up. So you can just ignore me for a little bit if you want.
Oh, okay. That sounds fine. Ross, what have you been up to?
I want to talk about Grand Theft Auto 6 and the fact that you can pre-order a digital copy. Like, what the fuck is this? Why am I pre-ordering a digital copy of a game? What, for $89.99 as well, I might add. Like, what? What am I actually pre-ordering?
Okay, right. I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm interested because I'm interested in the anger here because I don't understand it. And I don't understand it because I'm a PC gamer.
Right.
So I think a lot of console gamers are getting angry about something that PC gamers have accepted as the norm for a very long time. Not the pricing. The pricing's fucking ludicrous. But the digital nature of owning the game and not having any physical media. My PC doesn't even have a CD drive, so I couldn't even buy anything, a DVD drive. I couldn't even buy anything physical and install it if I wanted to.
Okay.
Elle, you look like you're going to explode.
Strap in. Ross, I'm so happy. This is also what I wanted to rant about too.
Okay.
DRM, digital rights management. If I'm not buying the thing, which is the game, and I'm only buying a license to play it while you have it on your platform, then yo ho, I'm going to grab my rum. It's maddening. It's maddening.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether you're aware what's been happening with certain people who own certain consoles who've had movies that they've had downloaded on their accounts that have suddenly vanished, that they have paid hard-earned cash for and had these movies taken away. Oh, sorry about that. Our licensing's up. But they bought the movie when you had the license. Like, are they going to be doing this with games now? Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
we're shutting down the store for the
Yeah.
PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
What do you mean you're shutting down the store for the PlayStation 3? Download everything onto a USB. The death of physical media is an actual travesty, and I believe it should be illegal for a company with such a huge, like a stake in an industry, the gaming industry, because Sony's huge. They are using bully boy tactics. Oh, well, we're going to force you to no longer be able to have these lovely discs that you own, that you have, that you can share with your friends and family just by, here you go, Rich. How about you play this game? Oh, great. I'll put that in my console and I'll go play that game. It makes me so angry. What is wrong with companies? Are they like, if you're running your company so poorly that you need to squeeze this much money out of people, then you're just bad at business. Sack your CEO and get a new one.
The answer to that question, Elle, as the answer as to what is wrong with
greed.
Capitalism. It's not greed necessarily. It is greed. It's growth. Growth is the problem. The metric by which success is measured in the financial world is wrong. for
So
everybody
grim.
other
Yeah.
than the people making the money. Well, right, there's a whole thing to talk about here. This is going to get broader than probably just GTA 6. But Ross,
Yeah.
you brought it up. You wanted to talk about it. What were your initial thoughts? What did you think about when you heard about this? And presumably this is a game you want to play.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I want to play it on release day. I want to be part of the crowd because of the massive FOMO that I'd get. But I don't understand what am I putting my money down for now. Like, not going to run out of digital copies. Surely on the day of release, I can just pay and download the game. Like, what is the massive clamour to pre-order a game that is digital only? It doesn't make any sense to me. And also, GTA 6 has age verification. So if you need a driver's license apparently in Australia to play the game, like to actually physically download the game, and they're considering bringing that into the UK for it as well, which is going to piss off a lot
They
of
should bring in a
14-year-old boys.
pedestrian-only version.
A pedestrian-only version. What, like you have to hail a taxi or something
Yeah.
like that?
So
There's
you get
already
public
roleplay
transport.
servers for GTA 5 for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So look, I'm going to raise a bit of controversy possibly in the room here because I don't see the problem. I don't. The money is ridiculous. I think that the amount they're trying to charge for this game is silly.
$89.99 currently.
And I won't pay that.
No.
PC gamers don't pay that kind of money. It's just not something that people do. If you're extremely excited and you want to play it on release, absolutely, by all means, it's your money. You earned it. You do what you want to do with it. But I personally wouldn't want to do it. I'd wait till it's cheaper. But we've been doing this for a really long time, like 2003, long time. And one of the reasons that we as PC gamers don't generally see the problem, and there are problems on the consoles, and these are the companies that are doing it, is Steam. Steam does exactly this. And they've always, for a very, very long time, done exactly this. You could buy physical media, but once you'd registered the game on Steam, that was it. It was on Steam. You didn't need a disc anymore. You could download it from the platform. Nice and easy. The major difference with Steam is ethics. We are spoilt. We are spoilt on PC with Steam because largely when games get discontinued, and they have been discontinued and they're no longer available in the Steam store, which has happened to multiple games that I own through Steam, I can still play them. You can't buy them anymore through Steam. You can't even find them on the Steam store any longer, but I can still play them.
Yeah, and it's not like they've gone onto your machine and removed the game from you.
No, but I can even still download it, even if I don't even have it installed right now. If at some point in the future I wanted to install that game, I can still download it and install it. Now, that might not be the case for every single game that's ever been removed from Steam, but it's certainly the case for the few that I've got that I'm still able to get access to. Things are different when you don't have ethical companies doing things like that. And I know that there are other companies out there. The Crew is probably the biggest one that has happened in recent memory.
So can I just interject here? There is a campaign called Stop Killing Games.
Yes, yeah. And I watched them in the European Parliament making their case to try and prevent companies from completely removing access to games. So, Ross, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but effectively there's this movement that tried to happen in the European Parliament. Spoiler alert: it got rejected in the end. But they gave them a fair shout and they listened to them. And unfortunately, I don't think that they explain themselves well enough.
Right.
I watched the kind of the explanations and dissertations, if you will, about what they thought needed to happen and what they thought was wrong. But in reality, what needs to happen if a company is going to discontinue their game on digital platforms, especially if it's a live service game or something that requires a connection for DRM to be able to actually launch the game in the first place, they should be obliged to release a crack for that game that removes the DRM, removes the obligation to connect to their servers in order to play it. If it is a online only game, which you have to connect to online servers to play, they are not, I don't believe, under an obligation to release their hosting software so that people can self-host, but they should allow people to write their own hosting software to host private servers so people are able to play that game without going to them and trying to take them to court and stop them from doing it. If those measures were in place, I don't think the problem would be as big as it is. Right. But as it stands, yes, it is really bad. When it comes to the digital download thing, the pre-order, and this is something that's happened on PC for a really long time, companies want to know what the actual legitimate interest in purchasing the game is going to be ahead of the game releasing. And so they want
It's like
a
wish
metric.
listing.
Yeah, exactly. They want a metric of how many people are actually buying the game, not might buy the game or telling their friends they're probably going to play it. They're committing their money ahead of time because they are definitely going to be playing that game, so they're going to pay ahead.
Right.
And for that privilege, they get certain DLCs, certain bonuses that after the release are unavailable generally. So you might get some skins, some cars, some weapons,
normally it's
whatever
cosmetics.
it is. That are simply unavailable to anybody else after the game has been released. It's similar to the old way of doing things, which you would buy a collector's edition pack that would maybe come with some merch that you couldn't otherwise get outside of that collector's edition pack, but because they don't want to ship collector's edition packs and physical copies of stuff anymore. It's difficult. If there is a possibility at some point in the future that they could completely remove this from the platform, and therefore you are no longer able to play that game that you've paid £85, £90, whatever it was for, then that sucks. But the idea of buying a digital-only copy and not being able to buy physical media so that you can share these things with your friends, not abnormal. However, again, I'm spoiled with Steam because on Steam we have Steam Family Share. We can add people to our family. People can play, the people in your family can play the games that are on your Steam library, even when you're playing other games that are on your Steam library. So you have that kind of pseudo sharing ability, although you do not have the ability to physically trade in a copy of your game at a store like CEX or some other store out there that is equally as unscrupulous and robs you of your money. That is the bit they want to kill. They want to stop people trading in games, reselling them on, and making some money back from them because they don't get any slice of the resale of that game. They want to get the continued money that's directly to them for the sale of that game, and for that reason, it does suck.
It just feels like Suits pissing on kids, if I'm going to be honest. Just some scrankly teenager trying to buy a secondhand copy of Persona 5 from CEX, and they're like, "Yeah, we want that kid's money."
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
All of this is happening, but all of the fear is happening because of what happened with the Crew. That's kicked it off, but it's been concentrated down now because Sony's announcement that there's not going to be any physical releases of games after 2027. You're not going to be able to buy a disc for your game, no matter how it was installed and whether it turns into a digital version after that. You won't be able to buy a physical disc. Plus, they've already at the same time they announced that what El was talking about earlier. They announced that all of those videos that people owned on their service suddenly just disappeared. That their timing was spectacularly bad. But if they're going to do this sort of thing, then by the way, the Stop Killing Games thing hasn't completely failed. The European Parliament rejected it, but recommended a softer option, which was a voluntary code of conduct. So they're asking games companies to be nice, to play nice, and if you're gonna end of life a game, make sure that people can still get some value out of it, that they can still at least play the bare bones of it, even if they can't attach the game to their servers, they can still play it offline. If you can play it offline, then you've got no complaints. But I think Sony's timing on this is awful. And they were the ones, you might have seen the memes, they were the ones that did this is how you share a Sony
Not
game.
anymore. That's aged. It's aged real bad.
Like cheese.
It was always going to go that way.
Yeah.
And then in the same breath, Valve have released the Steam Machine, a console that has absolutely no CD drive or DVD drive whatsoever, because PC gamers have been used to this for a really long time. So look, I do get both sides, and I do understand the problems that console gamers have with this, because this is something that they've been traditionally familiar with being able to do, buying secondhand games when they're cheaper. One of my biggest problems with console game stores, the online stores on the console itself, is a lot of games never reduce in price. No. They stay
Nintendo.
Very high.
Looking at you, Nintendo.
Yeah.
You don't get the same kind of sales and reductions that you get on the likes of Steam on the PC. So look, I do get it, but we're talking about two quite significantly different ecosystems that at some point are going to start fighting against each other a lot more closely than they are at the moment. And it's not going to be in the too distant future with Steam releasing the Steam Machine. They've got the Steam Deck. This is a direct console competitor now. Microsoft don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they haven't known what they're doing for a really long time. Sony have been riding high off the fact that effectively they won the last console generation by accident, because Microsoft dropped the ball so hard that it landed on everybody's foot. And they think they can get away with whatever they want. Microsoft have been doing a very similar thing with Windows for a really long time, and now Steam has shown up and just kind of gone, well, do you know what? We're going to do something, and then the rest of you can learn how it's meant to be done. Is it going to change anything? Probably not. But people like to
go to Linux Mint. Please don't let Microsoft take your soul.
Bazite laptop there.
Got my ThinkPad.
So yeah, sorry that I ran over all of that a little bit, Ross.
No, it's fine. No, I'll talk about a game in a bit, but yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because it's like been the hot topic, and yeah, I want to play it still, but I'm not going to drop that money now.
Well, and there you go.
That's the problem, and they know that because people are going to pay that money.
Yeah,
they will be so desperate. It's been so long, and it's such a massive franchise. They're going to make their money, and then in 2 years' time you'll be able to pay it 50 quid, and then in 4 years' time you'll be able to pay 30 quid, and so on.
Yeah. And L, to your point, which I do have a problem with, not your point, I do have a problem with the practice, and I 100% agree. Piracy around 10 years ago was at a peak. People would pirate because we were fed up of cable. We were fed up of the practices of Sky and the cable networks in the United States, the way that they would release shows, films, media, the delay that we would have in waiting for the United States to get it first and having to wait however many weeks for us to be able to watch it, the frustration of having to only be able to watch it on certain channels that we had to pay for subscriptions for, the timings, everything was a pain in the ass. So people pirated. It was a fairly normal thing to do. It peaked. And then, out of the darkness rode on a shining steed Netflix and the group of streaming services that came after it, promising for a brighter future and a change. And what's happened to them? They have gone down exactly the same road as all of the cable networks did before them. And now all of a sudden you need 5 or 6 different streaming services to watch something that 1 week was on one and the next week is on another, or that it's been removed from one because they don't have the license for it anymore, and all kinds of other things. And you've got these different streamers buying up different IPs, like Stargate as an example, promising to do something with them and then allowing them to die. It's too soon now. And now we are seeing a gradual drift back towards piracy, because when the pirating websites make things more convenient and easier than the legitimate pay-for services, people gonna pirate.
You go
or
first,
self-hosting.
Or self-hosting.
Self-hosting.
Yeah, which is piracy on your own PC, L.
On your own terms. It's having my own ship.
Yeah.
So I think there could be a good thing that comes out of this. I think people should educate themselves in order to make informed purchasing decisions. We have either time or convenience, which we pay with. But paying with time means that you might gain networking skills or becoming more technologically savvy. And being able to be curators of media that might potentially be lost. So I'm a big fan of some quite ancient anime. Do love it. Pet Shop of Horrors. That was a classic, wasn't it? There's so many bits of media that I absolutely adore, that I will rewatch. I'm quite funny. I will only rewatch things that I super, super love. And it's so hard to find them anymore. I mean, Crunchyroll doesn't have it. Goodness gracious, no. So being able to find a DVD, take it, put it on my self-hosted server, and being able to access it through things like Jellyfin are great. Like the UI is very, very similar to Netflix. I can control what's on there. Phantom of the Opera isn't going to just immediately be taken away from me. I need it to survive. And It's much cheaper. Like I don't want to pay £1 billion to Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, Crunchyroll, Netflix, and goodness knows how many other people who want to take your money. It is becoming increasingly irritating that businesses act like they are entitled to the money in your wallet and you are an inconvenience en route to your hard-earned cash. And I object to that, dear friends. I object to it. I work hard for my monies and I want to keep as much as I can. So, yo-ho, bottle of rum for me.
I'd like to point out as a disclaimer that Ready Player 2 as a podcast does not advocate for
We don't
piracy.
advocate.
I do.
We actively encourage it.
Yes.
It's a terrific idea.
Hey, host in your media that you have bought
Yep.
on your home lab servers and, you know, doing all your media servers and stuff. That is not pirating.
For your
I
own
will be
personal
clear.
consumption or that of your family who would have sat down in front of the
100%.
TV and watched that DVD with you anyway is 100% legit.
As long as you're not distributing it and making people pay you money, don't be an asshole too.
Yep.
You might have noticed that I quite like some of the older games. The thing,
really?
the whole thing that's called retro.
Should have mentioned it by now.
The only reason, I should have brought it up earlier. The only reason that this whole community exists, is, in retro gaming and in a lot of the more serious side of software, is because of piracy. That's the only reason that all of these things are available is because of piracy. Because if we didn't have illegitimate copies of these things, Nintendo and all of the other software houses and the ones that just disappeared and they, would have been lost forever, they wouldn't give us all of these things. We wouldn't be able to go back and play all of the games from our distant past, and it's just an incredible thing to have. Plus, all of the you wouldn't if piracy had existed earlier, we would still have all of the Doctor Who episodes when they were black and white and on tape. So, piracy is a good thing. It's a good thing. Everybody should do it.
That's the podcast title, so it is.
Disclaimer. Disclaimer.
No, absolutely.
In the small
worry. I do worry about the future of, for the middle-aged balding white man in 30 years' time. He's not going to have a hobby of looking back at these things. You're not going to have your PlayStation 7 games to reload and replay without Sony re-releasing a remastered version and ruining it. So
I would like to inject some hope core. I believe that big businesses 100% will try and stonewall us from their creations. But to be quite honest, most of them are using AI, so it's going to be slop anyway. Independent artists are going to be the way forward.
Yes.
People, the human experience is creating, whether that be finger painting on caves we've been creating, it's part of our makeup. There will always be someone making something from the depths of their heart and soul, and we need to find it within ourselves to uplift and support these people. And there will always be games to play so long as there is someone willing to make them.
Yeah.
And everything has a fantastic sentiment. Thank you, El. I completely agree. I think it's everything. I don't think it's just games. I think it's films. I think it's books. I think it's TV. It's everything. Where is yo shit? Think about where yo shit is. Where are your pictures? Right? Are they all on Facebook? They're not in photo albums anymore. Where is your stuff stored online? Who owns it? Where, if they decide to turn it off, are you going to be able to get it back? This is an important point for absolutely everything that you have paid your money for. If you own it, grab hold of it, because at some point they could take it away. And that goes for your personal photos, your personal identification, anything that you have done online that you are trusting these companies to keep hold of and protect for you. They ain't gonna, because they're in it for the money. They're not in it for you. So yeah, grab your shit.
I feel that physical media is so important.
I didn't put my tinfoil hat on today because it's too hot.
It is too hot.
Literally have cooked yourself.
I think this is do you know what? I actually love this subject. It's just 100% what I'm doing. Can you tell? I love this subject, and I do think it's really important. I think it's an interesting one. How as PC gamers, we got used to this. We have got used to this, and I think trust in the Steam platform is a big one, right? Are they always going to be that trustworthy? Very possibly not. And so have we been baited and at some point will we be switched? I have no idea. I wouldn't trust the console companies anywhere near as much as I trust Steam. So 100%. And I definitely don't trust any of the streaming services.
No.
Fuck Now TV. Frack Sky. One of the worst services I've ever had the misfortune to pay for. Absolutely disgusting behavior. And I will say now that I am paying for Now TV, and I am probably 75% of the time forced to go to dodgy websites to watch content that I am paying for on that service, because the apps and the service that they provide are so atrocious that I can't even watch the stuff that I'm paying
Are you
for.
paying
Mental,
for
isn't
it?
Because it comes with my TV package.
Oh.
But it's just, they have got no concern for the user experience. They have got no concern for the welfare of the people that are actually paying for the service. They just want money. That's all they care about.
grim.
They're going to feed advertisements left, right, and center. Right. Anyway, I think possibly tinfoil hat needs to come off now, unless anybody has got anything else to say on that particular subject.
Burn the accountants. Yeah.
Wow.
Lee,
I feel like maybe
love
they
this
just count
attitude.
the money.
the temperature's
accountant.
raised and you've become
Yeah.
violent.
Not my accountant. My accountant's lovely, so not that accountant. Some of the accountants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good grief. Okay. Elle, did you have a subject other than that you wanted to raise?
I mean, that was the main rant. I
was the
loved it.
main
Thanks,
rant.
Ross.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, I do love it. I mean, I also have another one, which is not, none of you are going to know about what this is, and I'm very excited. So, strap in. Let me introduce you to the wild, wild world of Otome games. You'll be like,
What?
ooh, what is Otome games? Well, if you're of the female persuasion, or if you like men, you might play an Otome game, which is where you have strapping men to develop, I don't know, emotional attachments to, while you go off and fight creatures, monsters. I can't even remember what they're called in game. I don't know. Anyway, Love and Deepspace. Huge game. Loads of ladies love it. Some men also love it. Made in China. It's great. There are 5 main love interests. And as of today, there were supposed to be 6. But due to some controversy, Infold Games, which is the brand that publish it, have decided not to launch Valko, who is the Wolfman. Why have they taken away our Wolfman? Well, for apparently culturally sensitive reasons. The globe is divided, with global girlies begging for his release, and some very vocal minorities in China wanting him to be removed, to remain removed, and to potentially go through and remove other characters. This is wild, you guys, because there are people who have so much money that they were going to buy billboards in the New York Times Square. They had enough money to get 2 to basically campaign to have this lovely digital man's return. It's wild. They even had someone bought a billboard in Taiwan and was like, "Bring back Valko." Wild. Yeah, isn't it amazing? Women gamers.
There's a whole other style of
We can
gaming that I've got
relate.
no
I
idea
can't
about.
undo it
So-
now.
No idea about it at all.
This is giving me flashbacks to that pigeon dating sim that she spoke about somewhere around.
I love
10
that
years
pigeon
ago.
dating sim.
Okay,
Such
so
a good
this
one.
is Atomic. I'm going to have to rewind the controversy slightly here. So right at the beginning, Otome games are a type of game where you both try and date a boy, and at the same time, while
Wow.
not actively in the date attempt, go off and do some battling, and then you come back and then you date again.
Okay.
I'm
We're
just
going to
interested in the
TLDR.
formula. Do they come on
Yeah,
DVD?
Do they come on DVD? No comment. So this particular one is you have the main character and she has many different lives, right? It's like being like reborn things, right? So she has many different lives. There's a gacha component to the game. So it's the cards in there, which are assigned to each of the love interests. and each of the card sets are belonging to
Oh,
a
hang on.
particular
Sorry, Elle.
lifetime.
Ross's face is how I feel inside.
I know. Look, you know, with your spreadsheet that you were showing me earlier, there should be a spreadsheet for this game.
I've just found a website called Lady Gamers, and I'm lost. I'm so lost. But carry on now.
Yeah, so there's cards. You go out and battle these things, these creatures that are invading the main character's current reality with one of your companions who will help you in the battles. It's like a real-time hack and slash or shooty shoot in like different levels. There's different challenges. There's loads of different mini games. They're all themed mini games, by the way. They'll do like banners, which will be like, "Ooh, this week we're featuring cards based on films, and you've got to go and do film mini games now too." Yeah, it's a game with a lot of different tropes and themes. But yeah, very popular. The parent company has probably lost a lot of money in the past 2 weeks. I mean, it's crazy. Oh, I didn't even tell you the craziest part. So people were so upset in China about the Wolfman that they sent cow dung, death threats, curse scrolls, and God, just all sorts to the office of Infold. They had to get security. They were like, oh my God, they're going wild. Oh. They complained to the government about the Wolfman.
Hang on. They had to get security.
How did
that job posting go?
I don't know.
Looking for a security guard to filter through packages for poo.
For poo.
Must have no sense of smell.
A poo sniffer. What on earth is happening?
I feel so bad for this company. Like, can you imagine, like, oh yeah, we've spent like 3-4 years developing this character. We've made the animations for them. We've done all these things. And people are like, no, he's too dark for us, which was one of the complaints.
Am I looking at the right sort of website? Because there's a game there called Variable Barricade and one called Collar Mallets. Are these games, or am I completely lost right now?
No, Love and Deepspace.
Love and Deepspace.
I found the Love and Deepspace. I found it so you don't have to. Ross. It's in my search history, so you don't need to find it. Trust me.
Now, they were very racist complaints, and when I tell you this man's skin color was milquetoast.
Okay, but is it because when he turns into a werewolf, he is dark werewolf? What was the complaint? Is it because is it against trans? Wolves?
No. So there are very, very high aesthetic standards in China, and he was too dark-skinned.
Really?
Can you believe it? Yes. Also, they were like, he's too scary. What? What is wrong with you all? The Wolfman too scary. Babes, you're playing with like some of these characters have committed like serious crimes and you're terrified of a Wolfman?
Some of these characters have committed serious crimes, and I've got to be perfectly honest, I've not watched all of the footage of the game, but I would imagine most of the girls look like they're 14.
It's all unreal. It's not real.
I don't. Okay. Weird.
Yeah.
Is the company Chinese?
Yes.
Okay, right. So they don't have much choice. It's not like they can just choose not to release this particular DLC for the Chinese audience and release it everywhere else. They're still going to get some poo in the post.
Oh, yeah. Also, it would be so difficult to separate it out and then maintain 2 games. They're struggling enough as it is to maintain the one version of the game. Yeah, they are in some deep doo-doo.
Literally. It's mounting up by the sounds of things.
Whoever's running their social media communications management needs to do their job, because burying your head in the sand is not a strategy. People are waiting. It's like Sony, right? People are there waiting on the borders, waiting for Sony to log in and make a tweet like, yeah, we're going to get them, boys. Like the ratios on some of these things are insane.
I find this fascinating.
And me too. I live for the drama.
I find this fascinating because I did not even know that this. I mean, I knew there were dating sim games out there, right? But I didn't know that this was like
really dating
a named genre of game that is very specific to what Elle has described, and there are so many aspects to gaming and so many sub communities of people who like I didn't even know what a brony was before them fighting herds came out, right?
Oh, my sweet summer child.
I didn't know. So there was a game that came out, it was quite a while ago
too.
now, called Them's Fighting Herds, which was basically like a Street Fighter-esque game, apart from all of the characters are horses, like My Little Pony style horses. And I was like, okay, fine. But I even played it.
Yeah,
Played it with Lewis.
Send my Steam
right?
library
Ages ago, right? And I was just like, okay, it's a fighting game where you play as horses. Right, whatever, cool, all right, fine. And then I'm like Google searching this thing, and there are fierce arguments happening on the internet in this subculture of people that I had no idea existed. And I'm like, brony? What's a brony? The things I Google search so other people don't have to. If you've never been exposed to the brony subculture, please don't do yourself a favor. It's totally fine. I did it so you don't have to.
Put on your business card.
It is so weird. It's great. Don't get me wrong. There is something out there for everybody, and just because it's not for me,
to make a bag of assets.
Do you know what I mean? Just because it's not, and I don't think enough people in the world now have got this right. A film releases, Supergirl, whatever it is, right? Something, a film releases, and people go, "I hate this." Right? Snow White, perfect fucking fracking example. I'm not good at this, right? Perfect fracking examples. Snow White comes. What have they done? They've changed the color of her skin. They've done something like.
Just don't go see it.
It's fucking Snow White. You're 47. You shouldn't be watching it anyway. It's not ruined your childhood. You are not the target audience. Why?
Yeah.
Why are people so bothered about this? It wasn't made for you. The entitled thought process that you are entitled to enjoy everything that comes out is completely wrong. You might have been excited about something, and it is unfortunate if you were excited about it and you went to play it and you realized too late, actually, it's kind of not for you because it's the type of game, it plays in a certain way, whatever it happens to be. Unfortunate, you bought into something that wasn't quite right for you. Fair enough, be a little bit mad about it and move on. But if you were never going to fucking play it or watch it or do whatever with it, shut the fuck up and let the people who are going to enjoy it. It wasn't made for you.
Yeah.
Go and be entitled somewhere else. Watch something vanilla and boring. That's absolutely fine. Live in
Go
those
enjoy
golden
the 5
days.
non-wolf boys. Well, I thought I'd bring us back into some sort of absurdity, given that we'd been quite serious.
You never let us down, Al.
Thank you, Al. It's been a very ranty podcast so far. I love it. This has been great.
Rich,
I was going to talk about a game. But I might think about some. No. What I was going to talk about was a game. Everybody else has spoken about drama and controversy, and I feel like I'm going to let the slide down.
Love and Deepspace is a game, thank you.
Yeah, but you
We'll
spoke
have
about
no
controversy
elitism,
of the game, El.
Of the game, okay. Right, yeah.
Okay, fine. I am not. I don't have anything interesting to talk about compared to all of those things that everybody has brought up. I don't have anything even remotely interesting to talk about. I am going to tell you what I've been playing. It is going to be boring, and then I'm going to move on. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because that's what I have prepared. And frankly, I've got fucking nothing else. I don't know what.
Boring and interesting is subjective. You tell us about what you've been playing.
I don't know. Do you know what? I have got something else that I do want to talk about. But I'm gonna talk about very, very quickly. I have been playing Path of Exile 2. If you are somebody who has played Diablo-style games, they don't call them Diablo-likes anymore. They call them ARPGs because Blizzard have also dropped the ball so hard that it's landed on their own feet. So ARPGs are action RPGs. They're what we used to call Diablo-like games. Top-down, bash fighting, not turn-based action games. I played Diablo 4. The recent release from Blizzard. I played the latest expansion. It's fine. It's all right. I don't know what else to say about it. It's all right. The end game gets, it's poorly conceived. They haven't fixed long-standing problems that have existed in the game for a really, really long time. Playing it with friends is entirely pointless. It's not the best experience. However, I then decided that I wanted to go and play Path of Exile 2. I played Path of Exile 1 a while ago. I probably put about 400 or so hours into Path of Exile 1. I decided, right, screw it, I'm going to play Path of Exile 2. That's the natural progression. Holy monkeys, Batman. This thing is absolutely fracking nuts. It is just as nuts as Path of Exile 1, but in a weird way more approachable. And if you haven't come across Path of Exile before, it is that kind of game where you start off with a character, that character waddles along a bit, bashes a zombie on the head, and then waddles along a bit more, bashes another zombie on the head. And after you bash 5 or 6 zombies, you level up, and then you go, okay, I can hold a slightly bigger axe, or I can have a slightly wandier wand. And then you wand a bit more, or you axe a bit more, and then you get a bit more power. In Path of Exile 2, you can literally just go, do you know what? I want to roll a rock at people. That's all I want to do. I just want to roll a rock at people. Surely there's probably a way of doing that. There is, right? You might go, I want to attack people with frogs for no fucking reason. I just want to attack people with frogs. You can do that. And I'm not picking things that are specific because they're a weird thing that the game happens to do very well. These are things that people have decided they want to try, and it ended up working. You decide that you want to juggle weapons. You can juggle weapons. I decided that I wanted to make a character that doesn't even swing their weapon, that doesn't even hit people. He just walks, and as he walks, people hit him, and he reflects the damage back at them, and they die. It's taken me a week and a half to make this work. I can't believe this is my life. It is brilliant. It is nuts. It is so customizable. What generally happens, and I do recommend this if you've not played Path of Exile before, follow a build guide. In Path of Exile 1, you had to follow a build guide. It was incredibly expensive not to follow a build guide, because in Path of Exile 1, you needed to spend this in-game currency, not microtransaction currency, this currency that you earn in-game by playing your character. And it was quite expensive in order to reset your skill points. So if you went too far down this extremely complicated and convoluted skill tree and you wanted to back out of it, it was too expensive for you to do that. And you were stuck with a character that was kind of broken and you couldn't do very much about it until much later on in the game. In Path of Exile 2, they have made the wonderful choice to do away with that mechanic and make it so that you can spend gold, not microtransaction gold earned within the game, which is far more readily available. You can start resetting skill points really early on. So if you do make any mistakes and you want to make some changes, it is far easier to do. Other than that, the complexity and the complication of the game is all there, with far more added onto it as well. It is bonkers. It is a time sink. It is not for everybody, but it is really, really good fun if you are into build your own story, build your own character sort of gaming, and extremely complicated spreadsheets.
That skill tree
because
showed
that's
us
what it ends
insane.
up devolving into. We can probably post a link to the kind of Path of Exile skill tree. But can I share my screen? If I share my screen on here, does it like record in the video?
Yeah,
right, because Lee didn't see this.
Not so good for audio listeners, but we'll try and describe it as we go.
Oh, you know what? Fuck
Go
the
to
audio
YouTube.
listeners. It's not the 90s anymore. Right.
Yeah.
No.
Here we go. Here we go.
Audio
Let's share my
listeners,
screen.
don't go. You're too sexy.
Yeah, you're gonna probably. I probably should hide some of the icons
There
on
you go.
my desktop. But here we go.
Look at that.
Right. This is the Path of Exile 2 skill tree, right? This is what it looks like. Now, depending on the character that you pick, you start off on one of these little nodes around the center, right? So I picked, in this particular instance, I'm a warrior. So I started off going down this direction. And sort of over here are generally the sort of ranger trees, and up here is the like monk trees, and up here is the sorcery trees and stuff like that. But there is absolutely nothing stopping you from starting here and just fucking off up here. Nothing to stop you from doing it. You could be a warrior that holds a wand. You could be a mage that fires a crossbow. You could be whatever the heck you want.
Barbarian.
Yeah, you could do, and all of these different bubbles around the edge. These are all the different ascendancies.
Yes.
So different, basically like subclasses that you can make out of the different classes that you can pick in the game. You can do wild things, and then if you want to see, right, here are the calc sheets. Right, this is my current character. Now, if anybody who does actually play Path of Exile,
It literally is a spreadsheet.
Right, so but this isn't the game. I'd like to point out this isn't the game. This is a third-party tool that is designed.
Spreadsheet.
It's called Path of Building that downloads your character from the game and then gives you this way of manipulating the character outside of the game, so that you can actually see all the raw statistics that are happening in the background. So you can pick what you want to chop and change and choose to get the most effective upgrades for your character. This is nerd territory. You don't have to do this.
Does it real time update, or like do you have to refresh
you can tell it to import. So if I let's say
nice.
all right, I'm gonna save this. Right, here we go. Right, we're gonna make a new one. We are gonna import my build from Path of Exile. We're gonna import my Spirit Walker. Here we go. Right, this is my other character, my Spirit Walker. This is the tree for my Spirit Walker.
Yeah.
So that's just imported my character directly from the live game. They've got an API connection, and it pulls your character straight in. It is great fun. If you're willing to spend the time, if you're willing to invest the effort into doing it, and they do something that I love, and they've done it since Path of Exile 1, and this is something that I used to love way back in Lineage 2 when I was playing MMOs, which is they use in-game items as disposable currency to do certain things. So you pick up in the game currency items, right? And it'll be like an orb of transformation, or a chaos shard, or a chaos orb, or whatever. Each of these things have a purpose. So if you go to use a chaos orb, for example, it randomizes the stats on a piece of gear. If you use a divine orb, it re-rolls the stats. It doesn't randomize the affixes you've got. It re-rolls the affixes. But these things are also the money that you use for trading with other characters. So when you want to buy a piece of equipment, you don't spend gold, because you can't trade gold in the game. You spend these objects, and you buy items from other people using these objects. Then other people use those objects instead of to buy other things. They then consume them to re-roll stats on equipment to try and make their equipment better. And it's got this whole kind of disposable economy where everything has got a value, and crushing things and reusing them makes sense to stop the world from just filling up with currency.
Yeah.
And the thing's essentially like an MMO. Everybody is playing in effectively the same world, but more like Diablo. It's not a full MMO, but you can join other people's hideouts. You can open their stash. You can buy things from them. It's freaking cool. It's really good. Anyway, that's what I've been doing. It's not controversial at all. It's just cool.
No, perfect. Sounds really good.
It is really good fun, and you can spend a ridiculous amount of time doing it. But if you're at all interested, and I will say, if you're somebody who's looked at Path of Exile before, if you're somebody that's played Diablo 3 or Diablo 4, and you've looked at Path of Exile and gone, do you know what, that is not for me, it is way too complicated. Path of Exile 2 is more approachable than Path of Exile 1, and I would suggest just giving it a go, because actually it's not as bad as you think. Follow a build guide. That is the first thing I'd recommend. Pick a character with a YouTube video that somebody's made that looks cool, that looks like it's something that you would find fun to play, and follow their guide for how to make that character gradually. And most of these guides have got guidance on what to do as you're leveling up. So not just, this is what you need to look like at level 90, figure it out on your way there. They'll actually say, during Act 1, you're probably better off using an axe and using these couple of skills. And then in Act 2, you probably want to change to something else and these couple of skills and stuff like that, to guide you on your way to level 90, which is a character that just fucking taps a rock and everything in the whole world explodes. That's the cool thing about the entire thing. So yeah, if you're interested, I do think it's worth a go. It is quite approachable when you're following a guide. Right, that's it. I spoke about game. We're a gaming podcast, right? Al spoke about games as well. I'm sorry, and Ross spoke about a game. I take it all back. We all spoke about games, apart from Lee. Right. I was also going to talk about something else, but I've probably spoken too much already. So I am baking, absolutely baking. So who has something else that they want to get off their chest before we decide to call it a night? Oh, everybody. No, you can't go, Ross. You've been recently.
We'll do a round robin.
Lee, you get to go.
I bought a games console.
I guess that the Saturn you've already
It's
got
probably
two
from the
of them.
1970s. Yeah. Okay. Right. I'm prepared to be surprised, but go on.
I bought a games console. Okay, yeah. So it's a handheld, and it's fairly modern, but not modern like you might want. So you mentioned,
you know what
Steam
modern
Deck.
means?
90?
It's been a while. Right, so I'm going to cut right to it. It's a Retroid Pocket 6.
I understood that reference.
What is this?
Right. Okay.
So it's a handheld game console. It looks like a Sony PSP or Vita, but a bit bigger. And the amazingly cool thing about it is you can choose. There's 2 different versions. On a Vita, or actually not on a Vita. No, on most more modern retro games consoles, you've got thumbsticks and a D-pad. Yeah, you can choose whether you have the thumbstick on the top or the D-pad on the top.
That's cool.
So depending on how you play games. But yeah, this thing is amazing. It can play Switch games. It can do GameCube. It can do PlayStation 2. It can even do some PlayStation 1, 3. It can do all of the PlayStation 1. It is a powerhouse, and with an OLED screen as well, and really nice controls. Hall effect sticks. They've really nailed everything on it. The number one choice if in its price bracket. It's not ridiculously expensive. I can't remember how much I paid now. It was around about £200, I think. You might have to look that up. But for the money, you can't get anywhere close to it. Now, I went onto their website knowing that I wanted this. And there are 2 versions, as I said, for the thumbstick on the top or D-pad on the top. But there's also different versions or different amounts of memory you can have. So you can have an 8 gigabyte RAM one or a 12 gigabyte RAM one. The 12 gigabyte RAM one was out of stock. Not in stock, written underneath in a grayed out kind of fashion. Yeah. So you can't even click on it. So I thought, it's okay. I'm not that worried. I don't want to play the top end stuff anyway. I want to play the lower end stuff. So I ordered myself a nice orange 8 gigabyte model with the thumbstick on the top because I like that. I don't want a PlayStation, basically. And I waited. And a couple of days later, I checked the order progress and I still hadn't been shipped. So I waited a little bit longer and I checked again and it still hadn't been shipped. And then I started to look into it. And apparently what they mean by in stock is you can buy a position in the queue. And I'm probably not going to get this thing for 2 months.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, I was excited for you at the beginning. But it's gone. Why are we cycling back to controversy? Okay, well that's sucks.
I'm angry.
Whoa. Let's not walk past this. When was this first released, Lee?
About 6 months ago, I think.
This is modern.
This is modern.
This is modern technology.
It runs on Android. It's
actually got a Snapdragon processor, like
properly. I mean, don't get too excited, El. He's going to play something on it that probably uses less memory than the operating system is running on. But it looks cool, and the reason that at the moment you said about it, I knew what it was because A, you said what it was, but B, I've seen these and I wanted one, and the only thing that stopped me from getting one is that I wouldn't use it. That doesn't stop me wanting it. And they do look really cool.
The last one I had of these, I think it was an RG35. It's a really nice little console with a similar sort of setup, but more square and boxy, with a 1:1 aspect ratio screen on it. Much less powerful, a lot cheaper. And that one, I had it for Christmas 2 Christmases ago. And I used it on Christmas Day for a bit and a couple of days after that, and then put it in a drawer, forgot about it till the next Christmas. And I thought, what did I get last Christmas? It's that. It's in this drawer. And it's plugged it in, charged it up, had a little game on it, stopped playing it again after Christmas. And then in the end, my friend is a bit poorly at the moment. And I took it round to him and loaded it to him. And I've actually given it to him now. I thought, could really do with replacing that, and I know full well what's going to happen.
There's an empty space in the drawer begging for this thing. This is my problem with handheld consoles. I like the idea of them. It's the reason I haven't got a Steam Deck. I love the idea of it. I love it. I won't use it. I'm going to do something different this time, though. Okay.
I'm going to beat the system.
Right.
I'm going to put one game on it at a time. I'm going
Okay.
to choose a game.
Yep.
I'm going to put that single game on there, and I'm going to play that game.
Yep.
I'm not going to have that list paralysis. I'm just going to play that one game. It's going to be for playing that one game until I finish that game, and then I'm going to take that game off and put a different game on.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Because one of the problems I find one of the problems with these retro systems, and I've done it before, where you build yourself a retro console system and you just load. It gives you an option. What do you want to load? And I'm just like, yes,
all of it,
everything. I want the whole lot, and then it loads up. And it's like one of those multi game arcade systems. But those multi-game arcade systems had like 7 games on them back in the day, and this one's got 480. And I'm sat there going, what to do now? I don't know what to do. Choice. I'll play something for about 5 minutes and then switch it and play something different, and I end up playing lots and lots of small portions of many different games. This is the reason I opted not to get one. The same reason I didn't get a Steam Deck. I'm just not going to use it, but they do look super cool. If you ever get,
I wanted something like this for a while. I even I hacked my Switch for this very reason, because you can play some retro stuff on a Switch that's not been hacked, but it's all quite limited to what Nintendo want you to play. And I wanted to put other stuff on there, and then the Switch is quite a powerful machine, so it could have done everything I wanted. But the process of getting the games on there and the whole setup was just such a ball ache that I ended up just not using that, and that hasn't been used since. And then I thought, maybe a Steam Deck will do me, but I mean they're like £700-800 now. So it's the money that you put. Well, I think the last time I looked into this, it was something like almost $1,000.
Oh wow! No, they have gone up in price.
Yeah.
You used to be able to buy them for like £350.
Yep, the £350 was the release price.
It's gone insane.
Yeah.
Whoa. AI has got a lot to answer for. We had to live through the Bitcoin miners, and now we're having to live through the AI farms. This is not a good time to be a gamer. It really isn't.
Yeah, grand.
It's not a bad time to be a retro gamer. You don't need so much memory.
No, you don't.
Low resistance.
This thing does look really cool though. If you ever do get it, I would like to see it. The orange was a good choice as well. I approve. All right.
Apparently, if you go for a black one, then you jump the queue. But yeah,
really?
I didn't know that. Yeah,
Unless you're in China,
so stylish. Oh,
boycotting them.
and get it from the official website. If you're going to get one, get it from the official website, because there's loads of scammy websites out there.
Scalpers.
And scammies, yeah. Well, not necessarily scalpers, but there are people selling units that are not the genuine article. So,
boo.
You're going to put a link in the
There's
YouTube
quite a lot
description,
yeah, good idea. There's quite a lot of these sort of fairly cheap, straight out of China, using Android kind of devices out there. And yeah, having something that's actually been properly put together by a decent company sounds like a good idea. Years and years ago, I had something called a GP2X, which might not actually make any sense.
I knew you were going to talk about this.
Possibly other than Lee, but that was the last time that I actually played retro games on a handheld, and I must admit I did love it, and it's something that I do remember very fondly, but I just don't know if it's something I do again now.
One thing that I got with this, because it comes with a choice of accessories, and I bought them all. There's the screen protector, and there's a grip that makes it more like an Xbox controller. There's something else as well. I can't remember. But the main thing comes with a dock. You can dock it and have it be your main system on your TV.
Oh, nice.
So you can connect a Bluetooth
sweet.
controller, and yeah. Oh, nice.
That's cool.
Which one is that? Is that the GPX2?
No. This is the perfect example of why I shouldn't be allowed to have money. So this, as you can probably
That's
see
the
now,
one
it's a
I
little
had.
bit closer, right? This is for
That's not.
my phone. So I take my phone,
right, yeah.
which is a gaming phone, right? This is a Red Magic 8 Pro. It's quite old now, and you take it and you put it in to this thing, I think. if I can make it work. And
Firmly grasp it.
it docks in. I'm not going to be able to make it work, and I'm going to fuck up my USB-C port now. Okay. Anyway, conceptually, this goes in here, and then you can play games like this, and you can, because it's Android, you can, and this is a very powerful phone, or certainly at the time it was one of the most powerful phones in the world, and it was also very cheap compared to flagship Samsung phones and stuff like that. And my idea, because it can also play Steam games, it can play PC games emulated, it can play all sorts of games and stuff like that. So I loaded emulators onto this thing, and I played it for, I want to say an hour, but I'm probably being generous, and I haven't gone back to it since. It's a perfect example of me not being able to play, even when I commute.
One other thing that the Retroid Pocket 6 can do is you can play Steam games on it. So simple, more, lighter Steam games. So you can do all of that. Plus you can do the game streaming as well. It does everything. It will cover everything you want with really nice screen and really nice controls. That's what I wanted. Something with,
Stop it.
Sorry.
Stop making me want one.
I'll wait until I got mine, and then you'll have to wait 2 months to get yours.
I just need to dock this. Honestly, it runs on Android. It's got little controlly wobbly sticks on it. That's probably, I'm not going to do that, so I shouldn't buy that. It's not a thing that I should be trusted to do.
You're going to buy it.
Stop it! I need my phone's just over 3 years old now. I need to think about getting a new phone. Really.
Sorry, planned obsolescence. Ugh.
No, it's not planned obsolescence. Well, I'm not planning to make my phone obsolete.
You don't need a new phone if you don't need a new phone. I'm trying to encourage you to be good, conscientious, save money.
There's a lot of things in life I don't.
I've just looked up how much. I've just looked up how much I spent.
Right.
And the other accessory was the case. It was $338.
Oh, for the whole thing with all the bits.
That's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
For everything all in.
It's not that bad. It's not real money dollars.
The dust has to settle on something in my house, so it might as well be that.
It might as well be that. Yeah, it's not like there's enough dust to settle on everything that's behind you. I'm excited about that. In a few months' time, when we're on podcast episode, well, let's face it, 4. You can tell us whether that arrived and how it turned out. Okay, right, we're going to move on. Another person who wants to talk about something else. Ross, have you got something else that you want to rant about?
Not rant. I played. Remember in 2020 when old CD Projekt Red released Cyberpunk, and it was an absolute pile of shit, and everyone got their money back. Yeah. So I downloaded it recently and replayed it, and it plays quite well now, and it's quite a good game, and I really enjoyed it. That's it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, nothing major, but like well done. They listened to the audience that hated that buggy mess and fixed it. Yeah, and it's a good game.
It was bad.
I really wanted to play this game. Yeah. Really, really wanted to play this game. And one of my best friends said that I could play it on his Steam account and then never gave it to me. The absolute son of a bitch. I'm not going to say who it was.
If it was very soon after it came out, he might have been saving you, if I'm honest.
No, it was you prick.
That's not true. I never owned this on Steam.
It wasn't on Steam. Yeah, but you were going to give it to me. You never did.
I feel like this is. Do we need to talk?
There's a lot of bitterness coming out. Sorry, I'll put it away again.
We've been a bad influence.
I love this story because there's been a few of these, and the rest of you might remember others, but when Cyberpunk was released, it was a buggy mess. Now, it was largely a buggy mess because of legacy consoles, in my opinion, because they'd said they were going to release it on PS4. They had to make it work on PS4. Yeah. In order to make it work on PS4, they had to cut so many corners as well as pixels. Literally, they were cutting corners. And the game on the PS4 was the most egregious problems were on the legacy consoles that simply just couldn't run this thing properly. And no matter how many corners they cut and how many polygons they removed, the thing just wasn't going to work properly. And a huge amount of the gripe that it got was from those kinds of things. But even on PC, even on the more modern consoles, it was still very buggy and still had an awful lot of problems. But then so did No Man's Sky. And so did Final Fantasy 14. And those three specifically, and I'm sure there are others, are brilliant examples of a game being released, the company putting their hands in the air and going, Okay,
Yeah.
we get it.
We'll fix this.
We kind of fracked it up a bit, but we're not just going to leave it. We're not just going to drop it now. We're going to stick to it. We are going to keep working on it. We are going to fix it. And because of other debacles that happened in the gaming industry previously, most of us went, yeah, all right, this is just a meme now. It is going to be a meme forever. But look at them now. Cyberpunk 2077 is amazing. It's one of the greatest games I've ever played. It is never going to reach the heady heights of things like Red Dead Redemption 2, largely because of this backlash that it got really, really early on. But it is that kind of game. It is that kind of scope and scale. It is incredibly good. No Man's Sky was an absolute disaster area when it first came out, especially because of all the promises that they'd made to people. And they kept going and they kept building on it and they kept building on it. And now they've gone even further. They're making a new game called Light No Fire. And as they make new things in Light No Fire, as they improve their engine and come up with new things for that game, they're retrospectively putting them into No Man's Sky as well, improving the game that they'd already released, which is so amazing for a live service game. Final Fantasy XIV, one of my favorite examples of this, they released the game. It was in such a bad state that they went, we're taking it back to beta. We can't do this anymore. They pulled it. They took it all the way back to beta. They offered refunds if people wanted refunds. They ran it in beta for another nearly a year, and then they re-released it as Realm Reborn, and it was brilliant. And it is still one of the top 5 MMOs in the world today. I love stories like this where companies manage to turn something around so fantastically and really treat consumers the way that they need to be treated. When something goes wrong, own up to it, fix the problem.
Fix it.
Yeah,
some of the bigger companies should take notes.
Take notes.
And other companies just cancel the game entirely and call it a tax write-off. Which is also something that has happened quite a lot in recent memory as well. Right, we're probably running on time, and Lee held up a sign a minute ago. We've got a hard cutoff, have we?
I can do quick fire.
You can do quick fire. Elle, quick fire me.
Let's go. Blasphemous 2. You all sung the praises of Blasphemous so much. I'm not a fan of platformers, but this is really good. I flipping loved Blasphemous. And when Blasphemous 2 came out, I was immediately like, well, you've got me, right? Take my money. I love to invest in weird,
just weird
religious overtones, deeply entrenched in Catholicism. And Blasphemous 2 promised to offer more of the same. I have a few complaints. Now, I do believe that there are some better gameplay elements in it, but I have an irk. This is not to downtread on the artists for Blasphemous 2, but it lost some of its grungy edge. And I really appreciated that in the first one. It's not as gory too. And honestly, the cutscenes from the first Blasphemous are so hardcore. Like, they would go so well with some like metal music in the background. Just like, oh, put in my metal helmet on. It's covered in blood. The blood's coming out of the eye sockets. Oh, beautiful. Loved it. 10 out of 10. And they lost some of that atmosphere in Blasphemous 2. I felt like the combat was a little bit easier and a little bit more repetitive. Did not like being locked in like certain rooms, then having to go into certain places. I did play the DLC for Blasphemous 1, which had the stained glass stuff, so I am used to it, but I didn't like it being a core component of the big gameplay in Blasphemous 2. Therefore, I do like Blasphemous 2. If you do make more, please bring back the more grungy, aesthetic, artistic styling, because it was far more enjoyable. It made it far more toothy, gave it more bite, and really that's what set Blasphemous apart from a lot of its competitors for me.
It looks like a Castlevania type game.
Yeah. Metroidvania style game.
Yeah.
I'm not normally one for platformers, as Ross could attest. I'm just like, no, I don't like them. But on the rare occasion, a nice little gem will pop up, and I will be their forever fan. Blasphemous was one of those.
Nice.
I like that.
I never played this.
It's good.
So I think, didn't we play this at EGX? I say I never played this, but I think I may have briefly seen it
No,
at EGX.
there was a different platformer that I played, and I can't remember the name of it, but it did have a metal aesthetic.
Okay.
It was
Yeah,
not
what was that called?
Blasphemous.
It's Team 17.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it?
The Team 17 are absolute classics.
They're so
They've
good.
been around forever. Yeah, they're brilliant.
Yeah, they're only the
There's some
publisher,
good
though. Don't get too
IPs.
excited.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they do curate some good IPs.
Yeah.
It's like Orbit. I really love Orbit books. They don't write them, but they sure do collect some gems.
All right. Okay. I must admit, this has never taken my fancy. I think it's a platformer thing. It's.
I don't like platformers.
I find
I
it
really
really
enjoyed it.
difficult to feel interested in a platformer. There are so many of them out there, and it's so hard to tell the difference. Some of them are supposedly amazing, like The Cave and stuff like that. But I've never looked at a platformer and gone, better get that.
Well, this one got me. It was very good. I like the story.
Well, you didn't really sell the second one, if I'm being perfectly honest. It sounds like the first one was better.
Yeah, I will stick to my guns. The first one is better. If you're gonna get one of the two, get the first one. The
Get
first
the first
great.
one. Okay. All right. Okay. That was quickfire. Well done, El. You did good jobs. Brilliant. Okay, fine. We've spoken about loads of things. There was another thing I was going to talk about, but I'm not going to do it anymore because everybody else had far more interesting things than me. What? I can't.
We're being threatened.
Hang on. The time sponsored by Accutwat is 8:55. Right, we have got a time limit because if we carry on going for too much longer, Lee is going to tell me off and I'm going to melt. So before either of those things happen, we need to call it a day. We've probably been speaking for far too long anyway. I've been speaking for years and nobody stopped me yet, but apparently Lee's going to stop me on this podcast. So thank you very much to everybody who has followed along to this absolutely monumental and emotional episode. Lee, I really do hope everything keeps going from strength to strength with the Discord server. And if anybody is interested in joining the new and hopefully improved retro Discord server, then there'll be a link presumably in the bottom of the YouTube video and in the podcast so that everybody can come along and join and see what's going on in that community. Right. In that case, thank you very much. I have been Rich. You can find me absolutely nowhere other than on this podcast sporadically. Ross has been...
here, having a great time.
And where can people find you if they wanted to?
If you want to, at @rossbell__ on Twitter and something on Blue Sky. Don't know. Leo tagged me in the next post. So, yeah.
Elle, where can people find you if they want to?
At Scaping IRL across the interwebs.
Across the whole of the interwebs. And Lee, where can people now find you?
I've rebranded. I'm now More Fun Retro everywhere.
Ooh.
So yeah, you can find me on that. I don't think I haven't changed the Blue Sky account name branding yet, but that will be happening soon. So yeah, find me there or on a Retro Hardware Discord. That's the best place to find me.
The new Retro Hardware Discord. You can't find it on the old one. It's not there anymore.
Yeah,
It's gone.
It's gone.
So we have been collectively Ready Player 2. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. We are all going to go and try and cool off somewhere. I might get in the fridge. I will look forward to speaking to all of you at some point in the very near future where we will have new and interesting and hopefully not quite as emotional things to speak about. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night.
All right.